Exam 3 review. So I put the chapters that you're going to be expected to review for exam 3, and I tried to give you as much detail as I could on where you should be focusing. So a couple of things, please listen to all of the recorded lectures, and please follow the recorded lectures with my PowerPoint notes. Go back to the areas in the text for further clarification. A couple of areas that are additional is postpartum depression and perinatal loss. Postpartum depression and perinatal loss were pulled from exam 3, and perinatal loss was generally presented with a guest speaker from St. Luke's in their perinatal loss department. And due to COVID-19, they will not be able to attend. They did give me their PowerPoints, but without really listening to how they explain it and go over everything with the stories, I felt that you would be at a disadvantage. So I'm going to give you that content in a recorded lecture with the postpartum depression and the breastfeeding and the discharge stuff. So I will give that to you. So for exam 3, you will be responsible for chapter 14, the postpartum depression section only, chapter 16, 17, 18, and 19, and actually chapter 10, and the only part in chapter 10 is stillbirth and intrauterine fetal demise. You'll find it on page 329, and it goes from 329 to 330, so it's very short, but there are several questions on perinatal loss and on stillbirth. They're more based on therapeutic, and I will record that for you. Go back to your CLGs. Number 6, focusing on breastfeeding and bottle feeding. Number 7, focus on number 4, applying the terms from 5, 9, and 11. ATI, Med-Surg, chapters 62 and 63, and ATI, maternal newborn, chapters 19, 25, 26, and 27. Just remember that students are responsible for the content and the resources that I utilize. I am not going to be asking questions directly from the videos, but the videos really solidify the content. So if you go back and you review all that, you should do quite well in exam 3. Always remember that students are responsible for the transfer of knowledge. At this point, we're looking at how are you bringing all of that knowledge in? How are you putting it all together? So chapter 14 is the only area I want you to focus on is postpartum psychological complications, postpartum depression, and postpartum psychosis. So there's a really short period, really short section there. Chapter 16, focus on breastfeeding, formula feeding, positioning, effective latch, contraindications to breastfeeding, bathing, kangaroo care, sibling adjustment, and stages of human milk. Chapter 17 was the lecture that we had synchronously via Zoom, so I'm not going to reread all of that, but I do want to bring your attention to perinatal loss, the very last point under chapter 17. Chapter 10, focus again only on the stillbirth, intrauterine fetal demise. So I'm going to tell you probably about 6 or 7 questions in both of those areas. Chapter 18, 19, recommended screenings, focus on the 40+ age group when you're studying those. Menopause, perimenopause, postmenopause, osteoporosis, and your biphosphonates. And there's some key things when you listen to my lectures that I really hone in on. So if you really listen to my lectures, look back at this, look at my PowerPoint notes, you'll see what I'm talking about. Chapter 19, hysterectomies, pre and post-op care, PMS, endometriosis. The sexually transmitted diseases that I want you to know, because there's a whole bunch of them: chlamydia, genital warts, herpes, gonorrhea, and syphilis. I want you to know the treatments, meaning the meds, and the transmission, any teaching and assessment. Again, listen to my focused recorded lecture. Breast cancer, gynecological cancers, the two I will focus on is ovarian and endometrial. With breast cancer, I will be focusing on self-breast exams, mammograms, and prep for mammograms. No radiation and chemo side effects and treatments. Intimate partner violence will not be on exam 3 because we addressed that in exam 1, but just to remind you that it will be on the final. Know your meds, the ones that I talked about in my PowerPoints. There will be priority questions, therapeutic communication questions, 5 medical math questions. I may utilize a multiple choice in some of those to mimic NCLEX. The breakdown of the exam, you will have 100 questions. You will have 2 hours and 15 minutes. There will be 80 multiple choice questions. There will be 5 SATA. Just to remind you, there is no partial credit, so I always have to go back and grade those as well. No case studies. Matching. I will have matching, no case studies, 2 short word essay questions. Medical math, I think I said that. Know your basic conversions, grams to kilograms, heparin drip question, and meds from multi-dose vials. Be really careful with multi-dose vials. A couple of students would put the multi-dose vial in their formula. So if you have a multi-dose vial that has 10 milliliters and your order is 5 milliliters per 1 milligram, something, just be really careful you're using the, you're not using the multi-dose in your formula. 3 fill in the blank and 1 short essay question. And I just want to kind of remind everyone that I need to go back and revisit questions. So in exam 2, I have to wait until evenings finishes their exam. Once evenings finishes their exam, I have to go through and look at the statistics of Morgan days and evenings, and I look for questions that are less than 40% of the class got correct. So I have to go through all of those. I need to hand grade all the math. I need to hand grade any short essay questions. So for example, in exam 2, bubble heat. So I have to go through, excuse me, and read all of that. So please, I really ask of you to really be patient with me and not be sending me emails saying when is the exam's going to be graded. I really am doing my best to make a quick turnaround time. Just like you, I am working continuously on this, so that I'm giving my 110% to ensure that everyone is successful, everyone has the resources they need, but I do need the time to go through and grade these. And trust me, I don't think anyone would have wanted me to quickly turn around these grades without throwing things out and without really taking consideration in a lot of the exam questions in exam 2. I do understand that they are hard. They are hard questions, but I really take a good hard look at the statistics, and I look for bell curves. I look for how many students got it right versus how many students got it wrong. So again, I really reiterate, please be patient with me. I know many were, but just reiterating that. And I will post the grades in Canvas when they're complete, and I will post a note, an announcement saying grades are complete. I always turn off the grading. I drag that out, and I also mute the grades so that you don't see your grades right away. There was some type of technology issues, and I thought it was just me, but after I talked to the Karens in the PN program and talked to other instructors, there was a whole lot of issues going on between Respondus and Canvas, and I just think it's the heavy traffic, the heavy internet traffic that we were all experiencing. So I know that many students were very upset about their exam grades because the exam grade that you see is a raw score. Anything that I have to go through back and grade comes up as a 0 until I grade it. So again, just please be patient with me. We'll get through this. Keep asking questions. I don't want to say don't email me. Definitely email me questions, but what I really want to say is just don't email me and ask me when the exam grades are going to be up, because I'm working super hard to get that done for you. All right, I think that's everything. I'm going to save this as a recording and I'm going to post this as well. And any questions up until now for the exam, please do not hesitate to ask me. If you need clarification on content, I will be more than happy to help you out with that. Thank you.